नमस्ते गुरुजी। जय गुरुजी महाराज। जय गुरुजी सत्संगत जी। मल्टीलिंगुअल ग्लोबल सेवादार टीम की तरफ से आप सबका हार्दिक स्वागत है। एक बार फिर हम सब धन्य हैं गुरुजी महाराज की कृपा से, उन्हीं के आशीर्वाद से। राहुल अंकल जी की पुस्तक गुरुजी लाइफ एंड स्पिरिचुअलिज्म का नेक्स्ट सेशन आज हम सुनेंगे। आज का सेशन बैम्बी जी रीड करेंगी। सेशन में जसपाल अलग जी और हरजीत अलग जी उपस्थित रहेंगी सेशन को मॉडरेट करने के लिए। और इससे पहले कि सेशन स्टार्ट हो, मैं थोड़ा सा संक्षिप्त परिचय देना चाहूँगा। आई वुड लाइक टू इंट्रोड्यूस बैम्बी सिंह जी। बैम्बी सिंह, today's reader come analyst, is an ardent devotee of Guruji Maharaj who came to Guruji's Sharan in 1995 when Guruji Maharaj was in Great Kailash. There is no looking back thereafter. Guruji used to call her Bammy. On the personal front, Bamby Singh is a fashion designer with the signature label Bamby Singh Designs. She has written a book titled Guruji, My Father in 2011, based on her experiences and conversations with Guruji Maharaj. Next, interventionist are Brigadier Jaspal Alag and Mrs. Harjeet Alag ji. They were blessed by Guruji Maharaj to touch his lotus feet in August 1998 in Empire State, Delhi. They were regular in Sangat at Empire State till Guruji left his chola in 2007. By Guruji's blessings, they moved to USA in 2021 and became part of Seattle Sangat. Jaspal Alagji wrote a book reminiscing Guruji Maharaj, a rich collection of miraculous experiences. And in the last, we all know about Dr. Chhabilendra Roul ji, author of this divine book, Guruji Life and Spiritualism. He was fondly called by Guruji Maharaj Rahul. Rahul uncle had darshan of Guruji during his Jalandhar days. He is a retired civil servant and personally member Central Administrative Tribunal, which is known as CAT, Government of India. संगत जी, गुरु महाराज की कृपा से अब बैम्बी सिंह जी को आपकी रिक्वेस्ट है कि प्लीज आप सेशन को इनिशिएट करें। गुरु महाराज की कृपा पर बने रहे। प्लीज ओवर टू यू बैम्बी आंटी।
जय गुरुजी संगत जी, जय गुरुजी। शुक्राना गुरुजी that you have given me this chance to read about your mahima, your blessings and your love for your sangat. Raul uncle, thank you for choosing this particular portion of the chapter, because it's become a beautiful journey where I have had a chance to get in touch with various sangat and hear the satsangs that you have written from them and hear the emotion in their voices and the happiness of how much Guruji is loving them. So today I will be reading from the chapter, the Vibhuti moments. And this is from page 129 to 142. And for me, this is all about my Guruji Maharaj, our Guruji Maharaj, one who has absolute lordship, supremacy, mastery over all that is required, all that he desires to do, all he can create and sustain, and even destroy at times things that are not all right. Guru Sahib Ji always said, I am Shiv and Shiv is Ishwar. For me, Guru Sahib Ji is Ishwar. Om Namo Shivaya, Shiv Sada Sahai. This is a beautiful book. There was a time when Guruji has to ask Guruji ke sare ke yahan foreigners aate hamare yahan kyun nahi aande. And Guruji would just dismiss me, ke hale time nahi hoya. And with this book, I feel that it, the way it is written, it actually creates a beautiful background, foreground for Guruji's journey, and welcomes people to understand, new Sangat to understand, about Guruji's love, about Guruji's benevolence. And talking of benevolence, I'll dive into Gopal Sethi or Hong Kong wale uncle, ya 50,000 rupees wale uncle, since that was his salary at that time. And this is in 1995. His wife, Krishna Sethi, was going through a lot of problems, a lot of ailments, had to undergo a lot of surgeries. So Gopal uncle once just jokingly told her, "Is tarah kar, zipper laga lende hain tere vich, kholo, surgery karo, band karo." फिर बंद हो गया, फिर अगली सर्जरी वास्ते खोलो, जिपर नु खोलो, सर्जरी करो and close the zipper. This was a joke between the husband and wife. Because of auntie's ailments, they joined, or Guruji allowed them to come. And within 3 weeks of Guru Sahib Ji's divine presence and his blessings in the cocktails, chai prasad, langar prasad, sweet prasad, had impacted positively on Krishna, and she was on the way to fast recovery from her multiple ailments. So one day, Guruji told Gopal uncle, satsang karo. So Gopal uncle khade hoke bade pyar naal satsang karne lage. Karde, which, like he was telling, how the langar prasad is important, how the chai prasad is important, how much it has helped his wife in the last 3 weeks. And Guruji says, na, oh, joke of the zipper, wo bhi to add kar. Gopal uncle says he was shocked. This was a conversation that had taken place in 1995, and in 2000 is when Guruji told him to add this joke. As the author writes, it was a demonstration of his power, his meaning Guruji, power to know things and utterances far beyond the limits of the sense organs. So everybody knows that Guruji could heal us physically. Guruji heals us physically even now, from his divine light. But there were other things, there were other aspects of life. Everybody's life has so many aspects. And look at Deepak Malhotra uncle. When he came to Guruji, he was a colonel, and Guruji blessed him to become a general. So there was not one hurdle, but 3 hurdles he needed to cross. First of all, that to become a brigadier, he had to qualify and undergo a course with the Long Defense Management Course, LDMC. Now, for that, he was not nominated, despite having bright credentials. The second hurdle he had to undergo was the National Defense College, NDC course, for being promoted from the rank from brigadier to general. And third, there was a fierce competition among the brigadiers from the artillery. Artillery brigadiers were no favorites from being promoted to general. And see our Guruji's grace. The author writes, by Guruji's grace, without the LDMC, Colonel Malhotra was promoted to brigadier. He was nominated to undergo the NDNC course. Brigadier Malhotra made it to the general rank. Guruji's words bore fruits after years. How prophetic was Guruji? Question mark. Yes, how prophetic was Guruji? We all doubted it in the beginning. Guruji would very, in passing, bless us and grace us with gifts which we didn't think we can also have in this lifetime. And it would be really a delight and happiness and emotional time when such words of Guruji came true, and you would go, oh, Guruji ne kya si, tad kya si. But Guruji was known for blessing us, even with the month, but never with the year. And it was not just these faraway things. Guruji would go into the minutest of things. Now look at Joshi uncle's satsang. Colonel S.K. Joshi was posted out of Jalandhar, and he had to pack everything, the whole house. Everybody who's in the armed services knows that you get a lot of postings and you have to I have to pack everything. So being very organized, his family had packed everything, put them under numbers so that there was no problem when they reach the next place. Among all that hodgepodge, Guruji decides to visit them one evening. And as soon as Guruji visits, the lights go off. Now everything has been packed. They can't remember in which box number was the emergency light. And Guruji very quietly tells them to check box number 13, box number 13. And the box was opened, and to everybody's surprise and delight, the emergency lights were right there. Now, this is like instant, but what relationship did Guruji have with Mother Earth? Guruji and Mother Earth, I'm sure they communicated in more ways than we understand. Sukhi Auntie Chandigarh Wali, her father Gil Sahab, was instructed by Guruji to buy land at Dabkori village near Chandigarh. And Guruji instructed them to dig a tube well and grow vegetables. Being ardent devotees of Guruji, they went ahead, got the boring machine, got the tube well digging done, and even at 450 feet, they found no water. Finally, they gave up, and they were really distressed when they gave up, and they went to Guruji and said, Guruji, ithe te kidhre bhi pani nahi hai. Then Guruji told them, flane jagah tusi boring karo. Now, this particular land was some land that Guruji was very, very fond of. In fact, there were 2 Ichhadhari Narks also found in this land, who used to live in this land, Guruji told Sukhi Auntie. And so when they started boring, now I have to tell you, when we bore, when the drill goes into the earth, when it comes out wet, then you say, okay, pani aa gaya hai. Uthe pani, us level te pani hai. But when they did the boring, first blue stones rushed out. And then the water gushed out of the land, which is amazing because they said in nearly 100 years, they had not had any water in that area. So they were blessed. They were so blessed with water. And not only them, Guruji told them, Guruji advised them that, and the villagers, not to commercially utilize the land from the well, water from the well. Now it is greenery all around, and the farmers in the adjoining land also get free water for irrigation for their land. This is an amazing blessing. The next topic is reading of minds. That is a gift we all know that Guruji had, whether you were 100 miles or 1,000 miles away, or you were right next to Guruji. Guruji knew what was going on in your mind. And so the author is trying to tell you different satsangs of people whose mind Guruji read and fulfilled. And the author talks about B.B. Chaudhary, a chartered accountant in Delhi, and his income tax IRS officer friend, who planned a drinks and dinner stack party on Saturday. Now, we all know that Guruji knows everything. So Friday night, Guruji knew, Saturday इन्होंने मस्ती करनी है. Friday night, Guruji ने इनको बोल दिया, अगले दिन जरूर आना है. तो तुसी की बोलोगे गुरुजी, सारा stag night है, ਅਸੀਂ आ नहीं सकते. So they knew they would miss the party with their friends, but they came, they stayed with Guruji. On Saturday, when langar was served to the Sangat, Guruji asked them to stay behind. मतलब कोई chance नहीं था उनका जाने का, even after langar for their party. Then Sahib took them to the house of a senior custom officer who was celebrating his promotion, and when they reached there, the 2 of them were offered drinks. Now, how can somebody drink in front of Guruji? I mean, you have your Guru Sahib who's taking you to a place, and then how can they be drinking? So Guruji looked into Mr. Chaudhary's eyes and said that he had been cribbing about the missing party. Guruji further directed them, drink to your heart's content and enjoy the party. Mr. Chaudhary fell to Guruji's feet. What an emotional moment. When you know what your Guru might consider as an ebb in you and accepts it, accepts every part of you. That this is what you want to do, fine, do it. But the next one is such an emotional one for me because this is about Sukhi Auntie's daughter Sukhmani. So Sukhmani wanted to have paneer tikka, and Sukhi Auntie and Sukhmani had to go and do seva at Guruji's. So they knew that there was not enough time to marinate, get the paneer, marinate, do this, do that. And so they decided to let it be and went to Guruji's mandir, where Guruji took them to Santushti for a function. And after the function, told them to follow his car. Guruji took them to a 5-star hotel and went straight to the coffee shop, told everybody order. So Sharma Sharmi mein somebody said, I'll have tea, cold coffee, and Guruji also placed his order. The author writes, now when the paneer tikka arrived, Guruji pushed the entire plate to Sukhmani and said, our daughter wanted to have paneer tikka. Now eat to your heart's content. Tears rolled down Sukhmani's cheeks. Realizing the love and affection of Guruji, it is touching for anybody, anywhere. And you know, we all make instant demands. We make, let's say not say demands, let's say prayers. Guruji menu chahida hai. Guruji, ho gaya hai, chahida hai. Ya dekh leta hai, to chahida hai. You know, and then we forget about it. And this is the satsang about Justice Gill, who was in Roper in 1987, who saw a photograph of Indira Gandhi wearing a Rudraksh mala. He had a desire. He prayed to Sahib, "Mainu bhi chahiye Rudraksh mala." Theek hai. Ho gayi path. Ho gayi. After 2 months, he went to Jalandhar where he had Guruji's darshan, and Guruji asked him, "Tenu ki chahida hai?" And uncle said, "No, mainu kuch nahi chahida, thodi blessing chahida hai." Guruji said, "Ki chahida hai, dasso?" And uncle just said, "I don't want anything but your blessings." Guruji asked him to stretch his palm, and he produced a Rudraksh mala out of nowhere and put it into his hand. Justice Gill recollected his prayer to Guruji 2 months back and how he could read his mind and desire and bless him with a Rudraksh mala. सोच के मांगना चाहिए ना, पर इतनी सोनी चीज गुरु नानू मिल गई हमेशा वास्ते. But that is like far away. Now Colonel Chatterjee को देखो, वो साथ बैठे हुए थे गुरु जी के साथ, तो गुरु जी ने सबको अमृत दिया. फिर कर्नल चैटर्जी सोचते, अगर मेरे को एक और ग्लास मिल जाए अमृत का, आई वुड बी वेरी लकी. गुरु जी ने उन्होंने वो भी दे दिता. 15 मिनट बाद एक और दे दिता. Guruji, the Mahayogi, could read the mind of a devotee and satisfy him with 2 additional glasses of Amrit. Clairaudience. Clairaudience was something Guruji was very good at. The author writes, our batchmates, both of them had joined reputed multinational companies and had been posted to Europe. That summer, they came to Chandigarh and met meet their parents. They invited a couple of us from the Sangat for dinner to meet everyone before leaving. And that meant that the Roul family would not get to go for satsang. And they needed Guruji's permission. So Guruji gave them permission to go for this party. They attended the party, which was very uneventful. Nothing. It was a pleasure to meet their batchmates and friends, but nothing to report back home. The next day, Guruji asked Rahul, "Party came in raha? How was the party?" And Rahul kept thinking that, okay, there's nothing really noteworthy to mention. There was nothing that I should be talking about back to Guruji. But then Guruji told him the number of drinks he had had, each and every item of the food, drink, sweet dish served in the party. They said that we were speechless and kept nodding in agreement. We could realize that Guruji could position himself anytime at any place, irrespective of past, present, future, as a Trikal Drishti would tell the details. No wonder our heads are bowed in reverence. Lagima is a word I really did not understand. Lagima is a word I needed to Google to understand. And Lagima means one, like every Mahapurush has to have these 8 siddhis, and one of the siddhi is to make himself light, that his feet do not touch the ground. Like we talk of a doctor who has to have different degrees to become a doctor, and so there are different siddhis Mahapurush also acquires over his endeavor to become a Mahapurush. And this was one of the siddhis And I say one because the rest of the 8 Guruji also has. And this talks about the lightness of Guruji's feet, of himself. When Guruji was in Sector 33, Chandigarh, off days, and satsang would take place till 11:30 at night, after which Guruji would let go of some Sangat. He would change into his casuals from his chola, a t-shirt and trousers, and then he would engage in conversation with the remainder of the group. The group would sometimes get 2 or 3 rounds of chai prasad or paratha prasad, and sometimes around 2:30 to 33 a.m. at night, Guruji would go for a walk to Sukhna Lake. Everybody, including the author, would try to keep pace with Guruji, but the attempts would result in failure. Guruji would be far ahead. Was he floating in the air? Question mark. See, this point, at this point, I would like to also add my satsang, or how we met the author for the first time. We were in Panchkula and Guruji wanted to go to the golf course, because that is, go to the golf course. So it was a very rainy day, the rain had stopped, but you know how golfers are, it doesn't matter whether it's rain or storm, as soon as it clears, they will start golfing. So we went to the golf course, and then Guruji told all of us to stand aside, and Roul uncle and Guruji started walking on one side of the golf course, up and down, up and down, up and down. After that, Guruji came back to us, and that was the first time we met Roul uncle. Guruji introduced him to all of us, and then Guruji came back and said, "Ke mere jutte sungo." Okay, and Guruji lifted his foot, lifted his shoe. Sahib's shoe was clean below. Our shoes were muddy. Sahib's shoes was clean below. And through the sole of the shoe was intense khushbu. So yes, does he float? That is something a lot of people used to wonder, but this is something we have seen. The divine prasad, whoever got it is very blessed. Whoever's families got it is very blessed. Is something I never got, but my family did get. And I would like to just read out the author's reading, because this is his explanation of what he saw at that time. Guruji, occasionally, of his own volition, would produce prasad out of nowhere. It would be like he would be in a state of complete contemplation or meditation, sitting on his asan in front of the Sangat. For the Sangat, his physical presence is imminent, but his real self would be in a different world. This has been noted by many. During one of those moments of contemplation, he would produce a special kind of prasad out of nowhere. He would just open one palm, and a small amount of prasad, a kind of kada prasad, but crystal like mishri, made of suji and piping hot, would materialize. The small amount would grow to a large volume, covering Guruji's entire palm. He would call immediately after the small amount of prasad was produced to a chosen Sangat, and would hand over the prasad when it had fully attained volume. Such prasad would always be full of fragrance of a special kind. This the Sangat called Sachkhand ka prasad. After producing the prasad, Guruji would experience a severe headache. He would inevitably tie a dupatta or similar cloth around his forehead to overcome the pain. That would remain for about half an hour. The occasions of producing of Sachkhand prasad were very rare. I would like to jump ahead to page 139, where the author writes about Nitin Joshi and how he saw, what was his experience. Now, Nitin Joshi is Colonel Joshi's younger son. One day in Jalandhar, Nitin was sitting next to Guru Sahib Ji and prayed that Guru Sahib Ji, please produce Sachkhand ka prasad. And after Langar, when the Sangat was seated around Guruji's asan, suddenly Guruji opened his fist. A laddu as big as 2 cricket balls appeared and started gaining volume at every passing second. It was like a sponge that enlarged as you opened your fist. So Guruji fulfilled the prayer of young Nitin. Not only Sachkhand ka prasad was materialized from thin air, it also grew in size as Guruji opened his fist. Now, this is one experience I was always wondering if anybody had, because I had this and I had kept shut about it because I just felt it was too egoistic to share with anybody that I had seen satsang Guruji produce Sachkhand ka prasad. And thank you, Nitin Joshi, and thank you, Raul Uncle. I get to enjoy reading somebody else also, watching Guruji do this and make the prasad, which was that small yellow dot in his hand when I saw it and grew to that much. And then Guruji covered it when she realized that, oh, wished only to show me that much, covered it up with his palla. Now, prasad was not just prasad form. Prasad form could be any form that Guruji would give. And Raul Uncle's family, all 3 of them are so blessed that all 3 were given prasad at various points in their life. Now, Urvashi's prasad moment. Urvashi used to go to Panchkula. And Urvashi, you see, Urvashi came in my radar because Guruji would call her piche se, and she would come very demurely, talk to Guruji, Jahan, and not talk really, and go back piche. Never one of the front benchers. And that is how Guruji would call her, at least when we had gone from Delhi to Panchkula. I had seen Guruji talk to her or communicate something or the other with her very often. So I was very intrigued at who this person was. मैं पता चला IAS officer की बीवी है तो मैंने कहा छोड़ो वो तो गुरुजी के favorite IAS officers. Anyway, so one day in Panchkula at Ahuja's house, Urvashi was sitting and now this is what she verbally told me, besides what is in the book, that Guruji gave an indication, Estra Hatnal. And she said, I wasn't sure, but I wanted to wait. So Guruji did that again. And the Sangat around her said, Jao, Jao, Guruji is calling you. So she went and sat next to Guruji on her haunches, and Guruji took out Sachkhand ka prasad and put it in her hand. One of Guruji's hands and her hands. And she said that her prasad was very different because niche it was mishri and upar it was laddu. So it had 2 levels. It had the crystalline hard level niche and the upper level had laddu. And she said when she held it, the laddu, like you get fresh mithai, you can feel it had a warmth. The whole prasad had a warmth to it. And she could feel the freshness in the hands. Like, तुम्हें पता है ना कि fresh mithai है किस तरह feel कर दी है, हल्का warm नई mithai जो feel कर दी है. It was like that. And what was the most fascinating part, she said, was that she felt it move like the earth moves. So the lower heart part, the crystalline part of a prasad, slowly moving, rotating, like that. What an immense moment it must have been for her. And then, as usual, Guruji took out upar se thoda prasad, gave it to everybody. And the other half he told her to take home. And after Urvashi came home, and then he took Sahib to Guruji's dupatta, tied it around his head for some time. After Urvashi came home, we shared the Sachkhand ka prasad and kept the rest in a safe place. True to Guruji's word, it never got spoiled, nor did it lose its divine fragrance. After Urvashi got the prasad, for 13 days, she could not eat. For lack of words, she only kept saying, I'm full till here, I can't eat. She could barely eat. I'm full till here. She had no way to describe what the effect of the prasad was on her body, except that she felt filled up. And on the 13th day, some of the Sangat told Guru Sahib Ji that this is what was happening with Urvashi. And then Guru Sahib Ji blessed her and she was able to eat again. What a beautiful divine experience Guru Sahib Ji gave her. I mean, it is something she will remember, and even I will remember all my life, because there's something so pure and so, lack of short of words, magical, miraculous, and very, very something that touches the soul. Now, it wasn't only Urvashi, it was Raul uncle also who got prasad, but in a different form. Now, they were in Sector 33, and they were sitting with some senior bureaucrats who had come with their daughter, and Guruji asked the girl to put forward her hand and produced out of nowhere a beautiful gold chain and put it in her hand and said, "A blessings hai, isme paya karo." After that, he called Raul and said, "Lo." So put his hand out, and in my palm, when I stretched my palm out, there was a gold bracelet in my hand. And then Guruji said to them, "Eh sona inna sona hai, jinna sona sunar bhi nahi bana sakta." And then he said, "Bless Kita, isnu sambal ke rakhna. I have blessed it, keep it in safe custody." He never asked the author to wear it. So that is a divine blessing they cherish and keep safely. And now we come to Jenny. Now, Jenny is a name given by Guruji. Her parents named her daughter, but Guruji decided she should have a fancy new name, Jenny. And Jenny was perhaps 8 years old at that time. One day, when they were at Empire Estate on a Tuesday, with Sudha Auntie, Urvashi, Jenny, Jyoti, Guruji's niece, and a couple of others, Guruji took them to Hanuman Mandir on Baba Kharak Singh Marg, stopped in front of it, Connaught Place. Some of the Sangat paid respect to Hanumanji from the gate, and Guruji decided to go for a short walk. He suddenly called Jenny and said, "Le." When Jenny approached him and opened her palm, Guruji placed a gold sovereign inside it. All of them were stupefied. The gold sovereign was materialized out of nowhere. It was a blessing for an 8-year-old child who once had expressed, when she was just 6 years old, that she felt Guruji was her heavenly father. And how much in detail Guruji gets into, even with children. Now, Jenny's favorite toffee or sweet is a mango bite. And this happened in February 2003. Jenny says that one day, Guruji came out of the retiring room and stood in the hall where the Sangat was, where normally Sangat is held. Jenny and one other person were in the hall. Guruji called Jenny and asked her to open her palm. And Guruji materialized a single mango bite from nowhere and handed it over to Jenny, and the person next to her said, "Matha teko," because Guruji had blessed her. In the evening, when we came back to the villa, Jenny described the incident, but being a child, she does not recollect who the other person was. Rimple Auntie and Jaggi Uncle. They are really old Sangat. Rimple Auntie's mother and father, Dr. Chell and his wife, met Guruji when Guru Sahib Ji was 19 years into this form of light. And Dr. Chell, I mean, it was like at a drop of a hat, Guruji would decide to go to their house, Dr. Chell's house, and Auntie would make prasad, langar prasad with whoever. 2 bande, 4 bande, 10 bande. Guruji used to go to their house very often. And on one such occasion, Guruji went into Dr. Chahal, a professor at Punjab Agricultural University, Ludhiana, his house. And they went there with a couple of Sangat. The devotees and the Sangats had langar. And by the time they got up, it was too late. So Jaggi uncle was instructed by Guruji to drop him to Jalandhar Mandir, which was 70 kilometers away. Jaggi drove the car with Guruji in it, and suddenly he realized that there's not enough fuel in the car for it to reach Jalandhar. And Guruji read his mind and told him, "Koi na, chali chalo." And so Jaggi went on. But when he reached Goraya, he realized that ab to reserve bhi khatam ho gaya, petrol tank mein koi hai hi nahi petrol. And again his mind started ticking ke main kithon petrol dala. And Guruji again read his mind and told him he should not lose his confidence in Guruji. Garewal made the drive to Jalandhar and Guruji settled in the Mandir in Defence Colony. Then Guruji told him that he had driven the car without petrol. But the next morning, on his return journey to Ludhiana, he should fill up the tank, as Guruji would not allow him to run a car without petrol all the time. And then his wife, Rimple Auntie. Rimple has been such an ardent devotee of Guruji. Rimple is like bigda hua bacha of Guruji. And her love for Guruji is just so pure. Rimple, I think, met Guruji in the early 1980s, and they were attending a function in the residence of one of the devotees at Sangrur, which was a very big function and it was a grand success, and Guruji blessed many new devotees there. And after the function was over, Guruji went to retire in one of the rooms. Guruji and Rimple and Jaggi were sitting beside Guruji, rendering seva. And Guruji was in mood mein the. Guruji was jovial and at his witty best. He started joking that Rimple no to diamonds bade pasand nahi. And then he asked Rimple to stretch out her palm. And he took out 2 diamonds in a British pound note and gave them to her as a gift, as prasad. And the diamonds, she still hasn't used them. They still retain their fragrance after so many years. Now the author has written 2 satsangs about Joshi uncle, and Joshi uncle somehow has some connection to rain because both his satsangs are about rain. Colonel Joshi was the group commander of the NSG, National Security Guard in Manesar, 1995-98. And one day the Director General Guruji decided that he would be, so you know how army people are, everything had to be washed, everything had to be cleaned, including the houses, including the trees, the roadsides had to be marked with white lines. It had to be perfect. So on the appointed day, when Joshi uncle left his house from Delhi to go to Manesar, it started raining like crazy. Cats and dogs, very heavy rain. And as he was going towards Manesar, he realized that it's going to be really raining. So he prayed to Guruji that the DG should not get disappointed with his preparations, because they would all get washed away in so much rain. When Joshi uncle approached the NSG, he found that there was hardly any rain, and where the unit was, there was no rain, practically none. And Colonel Joshi thanked Guruji. The DG visited the unit and was quite satisfied. Colonel Joshi was given a commendation certificate for his excellent management and maintenance of NSG unit at Manesar, thanks to Guruji. Guruji sadi sab di izzat badi rakhte hain. And we come back to the rain. When Joshi uncle used to go to Empire State, Guruji would call him at off days, and he would be called for seva for non-sangat days or over hours or whatever. And one day, Colonel Joshi was pressing Guruji's palm, and usse pehle he had just gone out to get some oxygen, basically the author says, to take a drag of his cigarette. And when he came in, Guruji asked Joshi uncle, ki barish ho rahi hai? Is it raining outside? And Joshi uncle, you know how the army person is, no clouds, sunshine. Gullies were all right. Therefore, there was no rain. Very confidently answered to Guruji and said, no, there is no rain. Guruji told him, go outside and go. And Joshi uncle said, nahi, main sari galiyan ghoom aaya hoon Empire State ki, koi barish nahi. Then Guruji insisted, go out and check. So he trooped out, went outside the building, And there was a single cloud hovering over Empire State, and there was drizzle. Joshi uncle came back and fell at Guruji's feet of the divine because he doubted his assertion that there was rain outside. Now, ability to locate himself in different places, this happened like much later part of Guruji's stay. In the sense that Guruji used to say कि मैं 7 different parts की थे, and every part has gifts, and every parts will make me, will say, अच्छा इस part के साथ I will gain this, इस part के साथ I will gain this, इस part के साथ I will gain this. So this ability to locate himself in different places happened really in the 1990s. And this is again a very touching satsang. It is in 1992 about A.S. Gill, whose mother was very sick and going to go. She was 95 years old, and Gill uncle did ardas to Guruji that he didn't want her to suffer, go through the pain and agony of illness, hospitalization, coma, and trauma. And after some time of his prayers, Guruji entered from the front door which was locked from within. Then Guruji asked him to get a glass of water, which Guru Sahib Ji blessed, then told him, give 2 spoons of the water to the mother, and said she will pass at 2 a.m. Before leaving, however, Guruji said, 10 minute vaste bahar nahi jana. After 10 minutes, Justice Gill went out and asked the guard of the house, ke idhar koi aaya, Guruji aaya, and they said, yahan to koi nahi. So then, Justice Gill immediately rang up Jalandhar Mandir to find out about Guruji. The Sangat informed that Guruji was very much there, entertaining the Sangat. Justice Gill's mother passed away exactly at 2 a.m. that night. Guru Sahib Ji ne bahut meher ki. And Guruji's khushbu is something we all desire and we all live by, because it is something we know that it is definitely Guru Sahib Ji. Now the author writes here, there are numerous instances described by individual devotees of Guruji on how they could actually experience Guruji's presence in the form of his physical, typical fragrance in locations far away from the place of stay of Guruji. Even after Guru Sahib Ji's Mahasamadhi, several devotees have experienced this divine presence by way of fifth of his fragrance, which lingers for a while, so that the devotee can confirm his presence through their olfactory sensory system, rather than thinking that they are imagining the existence of Guruji's fragrance. That is so true, because if even in doubt, Guruji would make sure, or the khushbu would linger on long enough for you to realize, yes, it is Guru Sahib Ji. It is not my perception. It is not my mistake. It is definitely Guru Sahib Ji who's there. Now, an important point that Roul uncle states, which is very important for all of us to remember, is that such a presence is not due to the prayer of a devotee in distress. It is Guruji's own volition as to where and when he would like to make his presence felt, to which individual or group of devotees. So a lot of people ask me कि हमको खुशबू आई है, उसकी मतलब क्या हुआ? उसका मतलब ये हुआ कि गुरुजी आपके साथ हैं, and that is the biggest blessing, that you are not alone, that you have Guru Sahib Ji on your side. Mr. R.L. Sudhir, retired IAS, has 2 sons, Sanjay and Shashi. Sanjay was doing a course in Oxford, while the author was doing MBA at Birmingham University. They used to get together and do many impromptu satsangs. After a couple of days, Sanjay would get Guruji's fragrance, signifying Guruji's presence in the proximity of himself. Similarly, Sanjay's younger brother, Shashi, who was doing a course in New York, could get the same fragrance in Manhattan, making them realize that Guruji could be in 2 places at the same time. This ends my part of the book. And I like to say that this chapter was put together to show readers the different forms of ways of blessing that our Guruji Maharaj gives to. This is more to enlighten our readers about the loving grace and the depth to which Guruji goes to make us realize that he is all-knowing, he is always there, Sahib is us, and we are the same light as them. But having said this, I feel that our human mind is so limited that in spite of being born in a land of gods and goddesses, saints, priests, we still perceive the next person in a limited way, namely, as our mind can understand and justify logically. That we cannot comprehend that it is possible for a physical body to look like us and have the gifts and abilities and markings of what our scriptures tell us. That even in light form, Sahib has the ability that needs to be nurtured, abilities that our limited minds cannot understand. That's why we behave the way that we behave, and we do the way we do what we do. There's an old saying that one who burns his hand knows how hot the fire is. So the thing is that we can all tell our experiences, we can all relate them, share them, but you have to have a personal experience to really understand Sahib and his ways. And you have to get burnt. You have to be like gold. You have to, like gold is put through the fire, is beaten up, is then molded into shapes. Same way with Guruji, you have to get burnt. Your negatives have to get burnt. You have to go through pain. You have to go through suffering. You have to go through balancing your happiness so that you don't go extremes with happiness or pain, trying to center yourself so that your soul can be the kind of person it wants to be with Sahibji's blessing. This book has very gracefully taken us through a journey of birth, life, and Mahasamadhi of our Guruji Maharaj. And I will pray that whoever reads this book absorbs the essence, the experiences to enhance their life and open their lives to the divine, which we'll really clamor for. And once again, I'd like to say thank you to Guru Sahib Ji for this beautiful experience, for the beautiful satsangs, for the emotions that I felt with everyone whose satsang I heard. I thank you so much. Sarbat da Bhala. Jai Guruji.
Jai Guruji Maharaj. I'll request Alag Uncle to initiate, please. Over to you, Alag Uncle. Harjeet Aunty.
जय गुरु जी। सबसे पहले शुक्रिया मल्टीलिंगुअल टीम का और राहुल अंकल का. Dr. Roul uncle has beautifully put across progressively points which unfold the true Shiv Roop of Guruji. So we are very grateful to him. So I will, all the Vibhuti moments have been covered very beautifully well by Bamby Auntie. I would like to just say that supposing Vibhuti movement were not there, would we have recognized Guruji Maharaj? In case these Vibhuti movements were not there, would we still have understood Guruji Maharaj as a Shivrup? I'll talk a little bit about this thing. जैसे गुरुजी खुद कहा करते थे कि चमत्कार को नमस्कार. Without Bhupi movement, certain things are there, certain physical attributes of Guruji. Were they sufficient enough for us to understand his divine roop? He, of course, he had a radiating face. One always wanted to look at that side where Guruji was sitting. Within just about few days of our joining Guruji in 98, we saw few things like Amrit falling from the Swarup in Empire State. Guruji often showed us a Trishul by rubbing his forehead, right side of the forehead with his fingers, many times, to me and my auntie, both of us. We saw that whenever Guruji came out from his room those days, he used to be emerging from very, very dark blue, dark lighted room. And sometime back I spoke to Sudha auntie and I asked her, did they have a blue colored bulb? So she told me that Guruji showed different colors to different people. Guruji mentioned that मैं ते light तू आया है, light चले जाऊंगा. He never gave any pravachan. That was a very great hint that Bhagwan, he's not a Baba, he's Bhagwan who's there to bless and not give pravachan. But all these things still, I feel, wouldn't have been sufficient for us to consider him as Shivrup. गुरुजी ने जो अपने विभूति मोमेंट्स दिए हैं, उसमें by and large we can categorize them as health, some wealth, and so forth. In health, obviously, without proper health, a person will not be in a proper frame of mind to comprehend or to thereafter go into spiritual path. As far as wealth is concerned, Guruji gave जो मर्यादा के अंदर जितनी wealth होती है, he never gave wealth कि okay, from tomorrow you will have a house made of gold or you will become immortal. ये विभूतियां दिखाकर गुरुजी ने हम गुरुजी से जुड़ने के लिए उत्सुक हुए, क्योंकि वो हमको बहुत अचंबा उससे लगता था. जैसे कि हमको 10 साल का वीसा गुरुजी ने दिलवाया हमारी पूरी फैमिली को, और मैंने जब उनको 4 फॉर्म भरे हुए उनके हाथ में दिए, गुरुजी ने कहा कि जा तेरा कल्याण कीता. और जब हम अगले दिन अमेरिकन एम्बेसी गए और काउंसलर को फॉर्म दिए, वो हमको ऐसा लगा कि वो या तो गुरुजी खुद बैठ के वहां पर हमसे बात कर रहे हैं, नहीं तो गुरुजी ने उसका माइंड कंट्रोल किया हुआ है. और आज मैं सोचता हूं कि ये गुरुजी ने हमको क्यों ये ब्लेसिंग दी, और उसका एक मेरे को डिडक्शन ये आता है कि उषा आंटी और एमपी अंकल को 2006 या 7 में गुरुजी ने कहा कि यू गो टू सियाटल, उत्थे सत्संग करो, एंड दे स्टार्टेड दैट हियर. और मैंने जब इनको ज्वाइन किया तो हम 30-35 लोग होते थे. आज there are about 700 people who come on every Thursday. At least 250 to 300 people attend satsang. शायद गुरुजी ने मुझको भी ये पूरे जैसे दुनिया में आजकल गुरुजी की सुगंध फैल रही है, टू ऑल्सो मी टू शोल्डर सम पार्ट ऑफ रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है। मैं एक बताऊंगा कि मेरे साथ भी यहाँ पर एक्सीडेंट हुआ हमारे बेटे का, और मैंने ये सोचा कि गुरुजी को हम इतने सालों से जा रहे थे, 2004 में एक्सीडेंट हुआ, तो ये क्यों हुआ, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए था। हालांकि अभी राहुल अंकल की किताब पढ़ के और उनके एक्सप्लेनेशन जो देते हैं, वन अंडरस्टैंड्स कि इट इज नॉट ए बागेन कि हम उधर आ रहे हैं और हमारा, तो ये पता लगता है कि हमारे कर्मों का फल है, और गुरुजी ने 90% उसमें से वो माफ कर देते हैं। सिर्फ 10% जो कि इस एक्सीडेंट के अंदर, हमारी आंटी भी यहाँ हमारे साथ बैठी हैं, शी वाज सिटिंग इन द कार एट द बैक व्हेन दिस एक्सीडेंट टुक प्लेस, और कार वाज टोटली राइट ऑफ विद एब्सोल्युटली मूव टू सैल्वेज। सो अबाउट 10% जो कि मॉनिटरी वे में यू कैन टेक इट दैट इट हैपेंड। दूसरा मैं ये बताना चाहता हूं कि गुरुजी के में कि कोई चीज कोइंसिडेंस नहीं है, और दो मैं छोटे से उदाहरण दूंगा इसके। इससे पहले मैं जो आज का विभूति मूवमेंट हुआ उसके बारे में कुछ बताऊं। बोलो, एक एमपी अंकल, वो यहाँ काफी सुनाते हैं कि किस तरह से वो बाई फ्लाइट से आ रहे थे, और उन्होंने गुरुजी के पास जाना था अगले दिन, और विंटर का महीना था, और जब एयरपोर्ट के ऊपर जहाज पहुंचा तो देखा कि वहां पर बहुत ज्यादा फॉग है, and visibility was very low, and so aircraft was not allowed to land, and in fact was being diverted to other airfield, other airport. तो एमपी अंकल बताते हैं कि हमने गुरुजी की प्रार्थना की, सडनली there was a opening in the fog, they landed back. यहाँ तक हम कह सकते हैं कि शायद एक कोइंसिडेंस है, बट अगले दिन जब वो गुरुजी के पास पहुंचे तो गुरुजी ने उससे पहले ही बोला कि 10 तेरा लैंड किस तरह, प्लेन किस तरह लैंड कराया है। तो देयर इज नथिंग। एंड सिमिलरली आई कैन ऑल्सो गिव एग्जाम्पल ऑफ डॉक्टर पांडव अंकल, दैट किस तरह से उनकी बस पूना में फ्लड्स के अंदर ब्रिज के ऊपर फंस गई थी, और सामने से एक ट्रैक्टर ने उसको खींच दिया। कुड बी दैट कोइंसिडेंस, बट जैसे ही वो घर पहुंचे शाम को गुरुजी का फोन आया, जैसे पांडव अंकल बताते हैं कि गुरुजी ने कहा कि 10 किस तरह तेन बाहर कढ़िया है। तो आज भी जो भी जुड़ते हैं लोग, मेरा ख्याल है कि सब एक आज, और जो आज का हमारा ये सत्संग है या ये जो बुक रीडिंग है, ये भी एक कोई कोइंसिडेंस नहीं है। मैं ये बताना चाहूंगा कि आजकल जो जियोपॉलिटिकल सिचुएशन, तो गुरुजी कहते थे कि जो गुरु की शरण में आएगा वो बच जाएगा। मैं एक छोटा सा मन्नो मंगो नहीं उसके बारे में बताना चाहूंगा कि गुरुजी को सब पता होता था। आपने बहुत सारे सत्संग सुने हैं कि अभी जो बताया जिप मूवमेंट का, वो 5 साल पहले का गुरुजी ने उन्होंने जो बोला था उसको पता था। सो यू डोंट हैव टू टेल हिम एनीथिंग। मगर मैं ये ऐड करना चाहूंगा कि प्योरली, हालांकि कहा जाता है कि गुरुजी कहते थे या कहते थे कि लिपस्टिक लगा रहे हो तो मैंने याद रखो, मानने का मेरा मैं समझता हूं मतलब है कि गुरुजी के वचनों को हम अपने उसको फॉलो करें। जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल ABC है, नो अब्यूज, नो बैकबाइट, नो कंप्लेंट, गुप्त दान, गुप्त सेवा एंड गुप्त सिमरन। help needy. मैं जिप मूवमेंट के बारे में इतना बताना चाहूंगा कि ये जैसे अभी बैम्बी आंटी ने बताया कि 95 की बात थी एंड 2000 और समथिंग लेटर देन दैट गुरुजी ने कहा ओ विद अस जिप द। ये क्या दर्शाता है? जब हम छोटे बच्चे थे तो मुझको याद है हमको बताया जाता था कि तुम्हारे जितने भी अच्छे बुरे कर्म हैं ये यमराज लिखता रहता है और एंड में उसका पूरा हिसाब किताब वो बताया जाता है कि विच वे विल यू गो। आई थिंक देयर मस्ट बी सो मच ऑफ ट्रूथ दैट हमारे सारे हम कोई चीटिंग करते हैं, किसी से बेईमानी करते हैं, हम सोचते हैं हमने उसको ठग लिया, बट वो सब भगवान देखता है और वो उसका वो नोट होता है। तो ये जिप मोड के बात में मैं बताना चाहता था। एज फार एज थोड़ा सा मैं मंदिर और वहां के पानी के बारे में बताऊंगा। मैं समझता हूं कि दुनिया के अंदर जितने भी हम भगवान के नाम जानते हैं, क्राइस्ट, अल्लाह, कृष्ण, जितने भी हैं, कोई भगवान ने ये बड़ा मंदिर जैसा गुरुजी ने बनाया भगवान ने नहीं बनाया। आपने देखी है गुरुजी ने वहां पर सिर पे पटका बांध के नीचे बेस जहां पर वो डिगिंग करके उसकी फाउंडेशन लेकर रहे हैं वहां पर गुरुजी खड़े हैं। और आप सबको पता है कि गुरुजी कितने प्यार से जो भी आता था उसको बड़े मंदिर लेके जाते थे और जगह बड़ी उसको दिखाते थे। और गुरुजी ने वो खुद नहीं वहां पे रहे, वो एम्पायर स्टेट में छोटा कमरा 10 बाई 10 का है मेरा ख्याल कमरा, उसमें रहे। और किसी ने अगर पूछा तो उन्होंने कहा कि मैं तो संगत वास्ते बनाया है। और आज आप देखिएगा कि आदमी वहां पर लाखों संगत वहां पर आती है एंड दे गेट ब्लेस्ड। एंड आई ऑल्सो हैव पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंसेस ऑफ दैट। आई विल ऑल्सो लाइक टू जस्ट मेंशन अबाउट द वाटर ऑफ बड़े मंदिर। अभी जैसे बता रहे थे कि पंजाब में द वाटर वाज 400 to 500 feet in 2000। I know in Delhi, South Delhi, the water level was below 2000 feet, and in this rocky area जो भाटी माइंस है, perhaps it was much more deeper। और जो उसको एक्सपर्ट वहां पता करने आया कि पानी है कि नहीं, उसने देखा कि वहां पर उसने एंड में रिपोर्ट की कि कोई पानी नहीं है यहाँ पर। तब गुरुजी को इन्फॉर्म किया गया और गुरुजी ने जलंधर से, इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग, वहां से डायरेक्ट किया कि फलाने जगह से इतने गज इधर मुड़ के इतने जगह करो। एंड ऑल्सो मैंशनड कि मैं गंगा नू उत्थे मोड़ देता हैगा एंड द वाटर केम। सो जो ये बड़े मंदिर का पानी है, मैं समझता हूं कि ये अमृत है। हालांकि मैंने ये किसी को बता रहा था, दे मेंशन दैट इवन दैट वाटर हैज स्टार्टेड गोइंग डाउन। अब मैं अपनी आंटी को बोलूंगा टू जस्ट से यस सर।
जय गुरु जी। आई जस्ट लाइक टू से कि अभी कुछ देर पहले बैम्बी आंटी ने कहा था गुरु जी की फ्रेग्रेंस के बारे में। और जब भी इवन आज किसी को फ्रेग्रेंस आती है, दे फील सो हैप्पी, दे फील सो ब्लेस्ड। और एक्चुअली दे फील, इनफैक्ट आई थिंक इवन वी फील कि गुरुजी हमारे पास आज भी इस वक्त भी यहाँ पर हैं और हमारा मार्गदर्शन कर रहे हैं सिंस ही इज विद अस। और ऐसे ही एक बार जब गुरुजी फिजिकल फॉर्म में थे, तो एक बार ना हमने ये दिल्ली कैंटोनमेंट में जाना था संगत के लिए किसी घर में। माय सन वाज ड्राइविंग एंड अंकल, माई सेल्फ एंड आवर डॉटर इन लॉ वाज देयर। तो हम लोग ना, हमको रास्ता नहीं मालूम था, हम लोग भूल गए थे एड्रेस लाने के लिए। सो मेरा बेटा कहते कहाँ मोड़ू, एंड अचानक आई गॉट इतनी फ्रेग्रेंस गुरु जी की उस वक्त इतनी फ्रेग्रेंस आई। तो आई टोल्ड हिम जस्ट फॉलो द फ्रेग्रेंस, यू जस्ट गो लेफ्ट राइट एंड एनीवे। तो हमारा गुरु जी ने मार्गदर्शन किया, आज भी हमारा वो मार्गदर्शन कर रहे हैं और हर एक मोमेंट, हर एक पल हमारे साथ हैं गुरु जी। और इवन जब जैसे यहाँ सियाटल में या जब हम इंडिया में जाते हैं या वहाँ पर हैं, तो हर एक फेस्टिवल हम लोग, सबसे अच्छा फेस्टिवल हमको गुरुजी की दरबार में ही अच्छा लगता है। तो आज भी मेरा मन भी भर जाता है। पीछे राखी थी, तो जब एम्पायर स्टेट में, मतलब गुरुजी, मेरे को लगता है सारे रिश्ते ही गुरुजी में हैं। माँ बाप, भाई बहन, एवरी रिश्ता है, फ्रेंड, फिलोसफर, गाइड, व्हाटएवर, गुरुजी है हमारे। तो रखड़ी का दिन था, तो मेरे मन में आया घर से चलते हुए, तो मैंने रखड़ी पर्स में रख ली और दरबार में गई। तो जब गुरुजी को बड़ी हेजिटेंटली, हम लोग डरते भी थे, तो हम गुरुजी को, बिफोर आई कुड टाई द रखड़ी टू हिम, ही पुट हिज हैंड फॉरवर्ड, जैसे एक भाई अपनी बहन को इतने प्यार से अपना ब्लेस कर रहा है। तो रखड़ी बांधी, और वो पल आज भी याद है और इतना प्यारा है। सो गुरुजी जो है ब्लेस करते हैं, हमारी बीमारियां या हमारे दर्द हैं सब दूर कर देते हैं, विदाउट अस नोइंग। हमको पता ही नहीं चलता, हम सोचते हैं कि कब होगा, पर इट इज एक पल में हो जाता है जैसे। तो मेरी मदर भी हमारे साथ एम्पायर स्टेट जाते थे। तो एक बार जब हम मत्था टेक थोड़ा सा पीछे थे, तो मेरे मदर ने कहा मेरे को ना बड़ा आर्थराइटिस की पेन होती है, तो गुरुजी को बोलना। तो मैंने हेजिटेंटली गुरुजी को बोला, तो गुरुजी ने थोड़े गुस्से में कहने लगे, मैं कोई डॉक्टर आ? तो मेरी मदर ने भी सुना। तो एनीवे मैंने मत्था टेका गुरुजी को, और फिर हम लोग बैठने के लिए चले गए। और मेरी मम्मी कहते, गुरुजी तो आज गुस्से हो गए। शी फेल्ट अ लिटिल बैड लाइक। तो मेरे मुंह से निकला कि एक जो गुस्सा भी गुरु का है, वो एक आशीर्वाद है, और सच्ची मुच्ची वो एक आशीर्वाद था। उस वक्त हमने नहीं रियलाइज करा, मेरी माँ को लगा गुस्सा करा, मगर लेटर रियलाइज करा, क्योंकि उसके बाद, उस मोमेंट के बाद, हर एक दिन, हर एक पल, मेरी माँ ने कभी जिक्र ही नहीं करा कि उनको दर्द है। सो द पेन हैड गॉन। सो दैट वाज गुरुजी's ब्लेसिंग, और गुरुजी's ब्लेसिंग हमारे सबके साथ है। एंड थैंक यू गुरुजी, एंड थैंक यू फॉर hearing Bamby auntie and reading uncle's book. So thank you, Guruji.
In the end, all I would like to just say that this is such a beautiful Granth which will be read for many, many years. I think as long as humanity lives, and inspirations from this, it really tells about Guruji's, that he's though it has been mentioned many times, elevated soul, but absolutely God descended down and to give blessing to people and tell them. Guruji कहते थे कि मैं तुहानू रब दे नाल जोड़न आया है, and I think to that end it is really, it's happening. Jai Guruji, uncle.
Jai Guruji Maharaj. I'll request Raul uncle to please initiate to conclude. Jai Guruji, over to you. Uncle, you are not audible.
Okay. जय गुरु जी। बड़े अच्छे ढंग से, बड़े अच्छे तरीके से बम्बी आंटी ने ये जो पेजेस था 129 से 142 ऑफ चैप्टर 4 विभूति मोमेंट्स की डिस्क्राइब की। इससे पहले मैं बताना चाहूँगा कि बम्बी सिर्फ ये किताब नहीं पढ़ी है, वो किताब के हर एक मोमेंट को महसूस की है. Before this session, she made an effort to talk each and every person whose satsang has been mentioned in these pages. She talked to myself, she talked to Urvashi, she talked to Jenny, and other people whose satsangs have been described today. And the kind of emotion she has brought, because mine is a little bit of a bland approach, but she brought the emotion and the poetry to the description. So I'm thankful to Guruji and Bamby for this beautiful description. Similarly, from Seattle at this odd hour, Brigadier Saab and Mr. Saab, both of them, they are awake and they are participating and they are describing the satsang, which are up for the chapter. We are talking about Vibhuti moments, as I have described in the previous session. Vibhuti moments is the manifestation of divinity of Guruji. So any satsang which is apt to describe the divinity of Guruji is apt for the chapter also. So I am grateful to him. Now coming back to the present chapter and the present couple of pages from 129 to 142. These are the pages where we have described various ways how Guruji's divinity was manifest. We have talked about multi-location presence, and Bamby was talking about Laghima. Laghima is the siddhi where the Mahayogi makes his body like a feather so that he can float in the air or float on the water, and he can move at the speed of thought. That is also called a levitation. So that is what is a Laghima Siddhi is all about. Then we talked about materialization of various prasads. This is control of the Panch Bhuts, the elements which make the natural objects. And Guruji had all the power to control the Panch Bhuts. Similarly, we talked about controlling of weather. When Colonel Joshi was sent outside, and he went outside, of course, to have a little bit of oxygen. He used to call jokingly that I am going for oxygen for taking a drag of cigarette. And after coming back from outside, Guruji asked him whether is there any rain outside. Obviously, his human intelligence, he has already seen the outside. So he said, no, Guruji, nahi, barish nahi ho rahi. So Guruji pestered him, okay, go once again, go and see. And that is what has been described. When he went outside, there was a single cloud above the sky, and it was raining. It is control of nature. In the previous chapter, in chapter 1, we have also talked about the experience of the royal family of Jaipur. Guruji went to their palace, and Brigadier Bhavan Singh, who is the son of a erstwhile Maharaja, he invited Guruji to the palace, and then he was taking Guruji to various places, nooks and corners of the palace, and they went to the Hoa Mahal, the top of the palace, and Brigadier Bhavan Singh was saying ki, in the olden days, our royal family will be sitting here, particularly enjoying the rains when the musicians will be playing Rag Megh Malar. That is what the people say because of that rag, when it is sung or played or music instruments are accompanied, then rains do happen. But he was saying these days there are hardly any rains. Guru said, "Koi gal nahi, barish aaogi." And after a couple of minutes, again similar kind of thing happened. A few singular clouds, and there was a drizzle in the palace. So this is called control of nature. Materialization, levitation, clairaudience, trikaldasi, all these are the siddhis of the divinity. Or you can say these are the manifestations of divinity. They have been variously described that people, like in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, it has been described you go through that yogic process and you attain these siddhis. Ultimate is the Kaival Samadhi, and in Kaival Samadhi, the person is as good as God. He has all the powers of the omnipotent, omniscient God. So, whichever way you take it, whether you take a Lord, he is the incarnate of Lord Shiva, he is a Mahayogi, or you can say he has attained the Kaival Samadhi, there is no distinction between the two. As Adi Shankaracharya says, at that stage, there is no distinction between the human being and the God. They are equal and ek. They are the same. So we take a Guruji that way. So now coming back to the supernatural powers, what are the implications of the exhibition of supernatural powers of Guruji? Guruji was showing us the spiritual path by demonstrating his supernatural powers. How? It has the demonstration or the phenomena of supernatural powers has 3-4 connotations for spiritualism. The first thing is that it connects us to the deeper universal energy, that is the universal show. गुरुजी बोलते थे 80 लाइट तो आए हैं तो लाइट में चल जाएंगे. He was expressing the divine energy by exhibiting these supernatural powers. The second is, by exhibiting these supernatural powers, he was giving us the resilience to undertake our karmic journeys. It was in chapter 2, in chapter 3, the previous chapter, we have talked about people who are suffering from their physical, mental, and physiological problems. And Guruji's blessing, with Guruji's blessing and grace, they can overcome their process of treatment and the diseases. It is not to deny that Guruji also has cured people with a blink of an eye. But again, his words of blessings, Kalyan Kita, through that, he has given us the strength to undergo our karmic journeys. Then the third, by demonstrating these supernatural powers, he has guided us to undergo a personal transformation. That transformation I will be describing subsequently. The fourth one is that by demonstrating these supernatural powers, he has brought us together, and he has fostered a kind of a community and collective empowerment. We feel that we are part of that phenomenon. When Guruji demonstrates his supernatural powers and we are present and we have experienced it, then we realize the existence of all pervasiveness of God, the higher consciousness. The universal energy is permeating all around. That is what our experience. We experience the presence of a divinity unfolding in our own lives all the time. Guruji creates a link to the universal soul. That is what Guruji was saying. साड़ा मकसद है तुहानू रब दे नाल जोड़ना है. Now, coming to the second aspect, which I was talking, that by demonstrating his supernatural powers, he facilitates healing and transformation, allowing individuals to share pain and embrace resilience in their journeys. Miracles of Lord, miracles of God, miracles of Lord Shiva are everywhere, every moment, and happening with everybody. Start counting your blessings. Be grateful to the Lord for what has been given to you, not what you lack. The greatest gift or the grace or the blessings by Lord is that we have got this human life, which can lead you to the ultimate goal of being part of the Supreme Soul. That is what Guruji, demonstrating through his supernatural powers, has guided us. Go on the path of a spiritual journey and try to realize the Supreme Soul. The transformation of the individual through the experience of these supernatural powers happens indirectly. Guruji, as you know, he was never preaching. He was not a very kind of preacher. He was speaking, or he is of very few words. But when he demonstrates through his these supernatural powers, we realize that we are part of the universal soul. We are close to the universal soul. We realize that we are not alone in this universe. We are part of him and we are part of his creation. So when he indirectly prods us to go on the spiritual path, what does he say? You do this or that? No, he never preaches. He says, Rob tuhade andar hai. Realize first that God is within you. When you realize that God is within you, you also realize God in others. Guruji used to do namaste to each and everybody. And as you know, the tradition of namaste in our land is that we recognize the divinity in the person whom we are doing namaste. We also recognize the divine connection that is within us with that person. The realization extends to all living and non-living, seen and unseen, far and wide, the universe. God is all pervasive. That is what Guruji made us to realize. And through this expression of his divinity, we are drawn to a zone, which is the spiritual zone. And through the Sangat and Satsang, we are creating a large family of Guruji followers. And this large family of Guruji followers, Guruji used to say, कि संगत तोड़ा परिवार है. This collective empowerment, the collective feeling is also spiritual and enlightenment. We share our experiences. We find belongingness to a spiritual group which is inspired by Guruji's supernatural powers. That is how we try to transform from ourselves. And as you know, in the olden days, people were, the sages were saying, if you control your 6 evils, like a काम, that is a lust or desire, krodha, rage, lobh, greed, moha, attachment, mad is ego, and matsarya, that is envy or jealousy. These are the 6 evils. Some people add alasya, that is laziness, as the 7th evil. Guruji had encouraged us to follow through his own ways by leading by example, that you also imbibe such kind of life and you live a simple life, you do positive work. Guruji used to say कि चंगा सोचो, positive सोचो, चंगा काम करो. And he himself was an example. So by demonstrating his supernatural powers, he has imbibed this kind of positive feeling among the Sangat and tried to take the Sangat closer to God. Jai Guruji.
Is there
Vasan uncle.
anybody with a
Jai Guruji Maharaj.
That was all from my side. Summarizing the chapter, combined together chapter 3 and 4, and the implications of the expression of divinity by Guruji.
जी अंकल, बहुत ही सुंदर शब्दों से अलग अंकल आप ऑनलाइन हैं ना?
I was just wanting to ask if somebody has any question.
Over to you, अलग अंकल. You wanted to ask something, I think?
No. I said if from Sangat anybody wants to ask a question.
No, uncle. In this session we are not allowing Sangat to raise the hands. If you have some point for discussion with Roul uncle or Bamby, you may ask, please.
No, I have no question.
ठीक है जी, थैंक यू. बहुत ही बेबी आंटी, गुरु संगत ने बहुत ही भाव से आपके रीडिंग सेशन को सुना है. मेरे को अभी काफ़ी मैसेजेस आए हुए हैं और थैंक्स अ लॉट. गुरु महाराज की तरफ से बहुत बहुत आशीर्वाद, गुरु महाराज की कृपा बनी रहे और थैंक्स अ लॉट राहुल अंकल आपका कंटिन्यूएशन सपोर्ट के लिए, क्योंकि आपने हर सेशन में, आपके बिना तो सेशन है ही नहीं ना. खैर, वी कांट थिंक ऑफ सेशन. द डे यू विल बी नॉट अवेलेबल, वी विल पोस्टपोन द सेशन. यस. तो गुरु परिवार की तरफ से हम महाराज से आज्ञा लेते हैं सेशन को यहीं कंक्लूड करने की. और संगत जी को मैं ये बताना चाहता हूँ कि नेक्स्ट सैटरडे को गुरु जी की कृपा से चैप्टर नंबर 5 पढ़ा जाएगा, चैप्टर नंबर 5. और मखीजा अंकल विल बी द रीडर एंड अंशु अत्रेजा आंटी विल बी द मॉडरेटर इन दैट सेशन. और अब हम सब गुरु महाराज से आज्ञा लेंगे.
वासन अंकल का भी शुक्रिया. आप
एनीथिंग फ्रॉम maybe anything from you or राहुल अंकल?
वासन अंकल, आपका भी शुक्राना. आप इतनी सुंदर सेवा कर रहे हैं गुरुजी की संगत के लिए. आपके और आपके टीम को गुरुजी महाराज हमेशा हिम्मत दें और बहुत ब्लेस करें. Rahul uncle, thank you for writing such a beautiful book. It is something very close to my heart. There are 2 books I really treasure. One is yours and one is Sukhmani. And thank you so much for putting it together with Guruji's blessings.
यार
राहुल
मेरे
अंकल,
तरफ से भी ये वासन अंकल को और उनके मल्टीलिंगुअल सत्संग टीम को भी धन्यवाद. ये गुरुजी के बहुत मतलब इससे और बड़ा सभा नहीं हो सकता है. गुरुजी महिमा को ऑल ओवर वर्ल्ड ही इज टेकिंग एंड ही इज ट्राइंग हिज बेस्ट टू पुट द मैसेज ऑफ गुरुजी, द एसेंस ऑफ गुरुजी टू द रेस्ट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. थैंक यू वेरी मच. जय गुरुजी.
अंकल ये जो बुक है गुरुजी द लाइफ एंड स्पिरिचुअलिज्म, ये हमने 2022 में पढ़वानी थी अगर महाराज हमको आज्ञा देते तो. मैं तो 2 साल से तड़प रहा था कि ये बुक कब हमको आज्ञा मिलेगी डेली. एनीवेज, वी आर वेटिंग फॉर द हिंदी सेशन, हिंदी एडिशन ऑफ द बुक. जब हिंदी की बुक आएगी तो बहुत संगत वेट कर रही है हिंदी के सेशंस की. तो लेट्स होप फॉर द बेस्ट.
The publisher has promised to bring it shortly. Let us hope.
जी अंकल, गुरु महाराज की तरफ से सब संगत जी को आशीर्वाद. गुरु महाराज का आशीर्वाद सब पर बना रहे. इसी के साथ ही हम सेशन को कंक्लूड करते हैं. जय गुरु.